Welcome to the More Dopamine, Please podcast, where we dive into stories of recovery through the lens of neuroscience and mindfulness. Today's guest, Silvie, experienced a life-altering scooter accident which resulted in a post-concussion syndrome. Today, we're going to uncover her journey of overcoming adversity, building a supportive community, and harnessing resilience amidst life's challenges. The incident that changed your life, did that occur in the Netherlands?
Yes, in Amsterdam.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing what happened on that day?
Yeah, of course. So I was driving home from the station. I went to Utrecht, actually. I had a meeting for my work there. And I went with a colleague and we took the train from Amsterdam to Utrecht. And we came back and my scooter was parked at the station. So it was just a 2-minute ride from the station to our home because we lived together as friends. And I told her, okay, let's go this shortcut because it was already 12 in the evening. It was already midnight and there weren't that much people on the roads. So I told her, okay, I take the shortcut because then we're fast there. But I didn't notice there was a lot of traffic coming from the other way because the lights turned green. And I bumped into another scooter. I couldn't go left because there were a lot of bikes. Couldn't go right because there were a lot of cars. So I had no choice because I couldn't move to left or right. And then we bumped into each other. I didn't follow my head, but I had a whiplash. And at first I thought, okay, I'm okay. I just hurted my ankle. I went home. I felt a bit disoriented, but didn't worry about it. So I went home. I even went to work the next day. I felt a bit weird, but I just didn't know what was going on. And I thought maybe it's just a bit of the shock because I had an accident and I was just feeling, a little bit out of space, but not that I couldn't manage it.
How did you sleep that night? Because I think the first night after an incident like that, the brain's obviously.
I actually can't even remember. I think I slept well. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But the next morning when you woke up, did you feel a little bit different that day, or?
Yeah, a bit disoriented. Like I did my normal stuff, but it felt a bit like I wasn't actually doing it. But I just went to work because I needed to. But I'm very aware of everything, and then I just went to work, went on my bike, and did my work. But my boss already told me you made some mistakes, and I never make any mistakes. I'm very I was always doing my work very well. And then he told me, but you made 3 mistakes. And I thought, how is this possible? I didn't even notice. So that was the first thing that I thought, what's going on? And I just thought I need just some few days of rest, and that's it. But it was a way longer than just a few days.
So, I mean, obviously, like, were you experiencing a lot of like neck pain and tension around the time, or you were okay?
The first 3 days I didn't notice it. I think I was maybe in
were you
shock
really
or
sort of
something,
bit stiff and like locked up, like sort of?
After 3 days it was like the stiffness, but also my whole back from the low to the top, it was hurting, and I couldn't even do my head from left to right because it was hurting a lot on the side of my neck, on the back of my neck. Stiffness as well. Yeah, it was hurting a lot. Yeah.
When you had your whiplash, did your head just go like sort of front to back, or was it like spun left to right as well?
No, front to back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's it's always confronting having something that seems like a minor injury and then it builds up over time. So you were starting for the first few days, you were just feeling a little bit spaced out, but nothing too bad. When did you notice that? Okay, this is serious, and what's going on? Like, when did you have that kind of confronting moment of you versus your mind? What's happening here? Like,
I think after the first week, because first I thought I need just some rest. Mostly when I feel sick, when I have a full week of rest, I am back and I'm fine. But I took a lot of rest in the first week. And I even felt worse. I remember I told my boss, I will be back next week on Monday, and I couldn't manage. And especially after 1 month not feeling better, I started to really worry because a month is a long time. So I think the first month was very confusing, and I was still hopeful because I thought it's just temporary, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, but a month and even feeling worse than before, then you start to worry. Yeah.
And I guess that tension can sometimes, like, build up. Was there ever like kind of a crisis moment where you were just like, what the heck is going on? Like, what did you feel like there was a kind of tipping point where you suddenly felt overwhelmed by this new change?
Yeah, I think when I went to my doctor 2 weeks after the accident, and he told me, you will be fine within a few weeks. And I wasn't. I went back. So he told me it can take another 6 weeks. Didn't feel better after 6 weeks. And this happened like, I think 3 times. And this was then, I think, after 4 months. Every time it happened again, I wasn't feeling any better. And my doctor told me I should feel better. So then I started to panic a bit, because if my doctor even know what to do, I thought, okay, what's happening? What do I need to do? I couldn't find help. So,
and was that just your normal, your normal family doctor you've been seeing for? And I think that touches on a really important point, which is about how educated the everyday doctor is about post-concussion syndrome, which is not really at all most of the time.
Yeah.
But I think you did what everyone sort of does, is they go to where they've been to before, and where they trust they'll get some information. But
and my doctor even never mentioned the word concussion, only whiplash, and that's what I was focused on in my first 2 years. I never heard the word concussion, so never.
I guess as well, they're two entities that almost always occur simultaneously, which is one of the tricky things with these conditions. I think one of the things that gets mentioned a lot is the idea of this like kind of invisible illness, and it's very difficult to see what, like from a neurological point of view, what that person is experiencing. So before you started doing therapy that was helpful, what was a really bad day looking like for you when your symptoms were at their peak? From when you woke up to sort of when you went to bed, what was a normal day like for you? A normal bad day?
During my worst days, I was staying in bed, felt very hopeless, tried to Google things, tried to find a solution on the internet, but felt overwhelmed by just even reading screens, so I even couldn't search for it. My normal day was like, I tried to make breakfast, and even those simple things that I never thought about before the accident were very hard. I couldn't even do groceries, things like this. So even making my own meals was a big challenge. And this is something, when you're healthy, you can't even imagine that you're having struggles with preparing your breakfast or cleaning or the normal things that you don't even think about. That became a struggle. So even the smallest task, even a phone call, everything was like huge for me. And this was so not me. So I tried to avoid most things. Didn't go to work, of course. Didn't go outside, as Amsterdam is very busy. I stayed inside in a dark room. Not
Did
doing
you?
anything.
I've spoken to a lot of people who have recovered from similar things, and many people started gravitating towards nature. Was that something that a theme for you?
But it was hard because I lived in a city, and to go to nature, you need to travel, which is by public transport or a bike or something. You first need to go through all the traffic and everything, and I just couldn't. So I really wanted to do it, but it was hard. But I managed sometimes to go to the park or something like this, but it's still not really nature. A park in Amsterdam is just still busy. But I felt more connected with nature. Yeah, that's true.
How did you, I think, again, like another theme that comes up a lot is like, because it's quite invisible and on the outside you don't have big scars, friends and family often just don't understand. So how did you how did you find ways of trying to convey this to your friends and family, bring them on board and help?
Yeah, I try to explain how it felt, but of course it's very hard. And I also didn't want to talk about it all the time because I just didn't want to complain or didn't want to feel like a negative person. So I talked about it, but I also sometimes tried to act like I was okay while I wasn't. But my family, my parents knew exactly what was going on, so they knew I wasn't doing okay. But some friends, I told the truth, but some of them, I just couldn't keep up with them, and I couldn't explain everything over and over again. So sometimes I just act, okay, I'm fine. Yeah, I just couldn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to explain. Is it? Yeah.
No, I understand. Trust me.
Yeah.
So was there a moment when you found that there was a kind of tipping point in your recovery where you started to sort of unlock practices and techniques which were allowing you to make progression?
Yes, I tried a lot. Most things didn't work. But in my first 2 years, I barely improved. But I went to Cognitive Ethics in Utah, Concussion Center. And since I started with the intervals and cognitive training, I felt improvement. So that was a turning point for me after 2 years. And also, I also started with eye therapy. So these three things really helped: the cognitive things, the intervals, and the eye therapy. From that moment, I felt improvements. Yeah.
What visual symptoms were you having before you started eye therapy?
I had difficulty focusing, reading, screen time, pressure behind my eyes. My eyes were very tired all the time without doing anything. Yeah, and blurry vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly the focusing thing. Yeah.
And what did eye therapy look like for you?
We started with light therapy. So I went there once a week and I had to look in different colors like green.
In Utah?
No. This was in the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
I was only 1 week in Utah and then continued my therapy in the Netherlands. So I went to this optometrist who is specialized in concussions. And I started light therapy, also do classes at home, do this for a few minutes a day. And then after 1 month, we started eye exercises, did this for months and months, and then prism glasses. Took almost a year, but yeah, felt improvements after a few months, yeah.
It's pretty confronting going through a big event like this in your life. And I think a lot of people struggle with this, trying to get back to the old version of yourself. Mm-hmm. How did you let go of that? And how did you make peace with the new you? Yeah.
So I didn't let go of the feeling. I really wanted to go back to the old me for years. I couldn't accept that this was my new life. So I tried to hold on to this old version and try to do everything to go back to that person. But after such a long time, you just notice it's maybe not possible. You have to look forward and not back. So it took a few years to start even noticing the first signs of acceptance. But I put it away, my feelings. I put it away for such a long time because I just didn't want it. I just fight against it, I think. And I just didn't want to believe and lose my hope to feel like the old me again. So this is something I still struggle with sometimes. I'm doing therapy at this moment. I recently started again because I improved a lot physically, but I feel like I can do more work like emotionally. So everyone who is struggling with this, I think it's very great to do therapy. So I think it just takes time, and it's so important to work on your mindset and your positive thoughts and everything, and look at the things that change in a positive way and not only the negative ones. Yeah.
And I think you made a great point, which is like often people, they battle so hard to make the physical recovery, and maybe the physical recovery happens, and then they're kind of left with this big space. Yeah. And then all the memories and emotions flood in, and you're like, oh,
exactly, yeah,
forgot about that.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. And so tell me about the community that you're building up. And
Yeah, I started it 2 years ago already, and I just started it because I missed something like this in my recovery. I just had such a hard time to find experts, to find knowledge about what to do. I was Googling all the time, but on Google are so many things, so many information. I felt so
if
overwhelmed.
only you had ChatGPT when you were, could have been.
It's just too much. And I just thought, okay, there need to be something or a place where people can go to where they can find information without having to search for everything by themselves. And also community, I believe connecting with other people can lead you to the right treatments or make you feel less alone. Because when I reached out to people, I think I did it even just after 2 years. I felt like I was the only one having this concussion in the world. And then I reached out to other people and I felt, hey, I'm normal. It's normal to feel this. It's normal to deal with this. And it even led me to the treatment in America and to many other things. So yeah, I just believe in the power of community. Yeah.
You mentioned that you spent a couple of years, really struggling with the symptoms that you were having. If you could go back in time and give yourself some advice right at the very beginning, what would you tell yourself? If you sat down for a cup of coffee with Silvie at the start of the journey?
I think listen to your body, not pushing yourself too much. I wish I didn't push myself that much to go back to work, because in my head it was the most important thing ever, while when I look back right now, it wasn't. So really put your health first and do what is best for your health and not what other people think or things that people expect you to do. So I think, just listen to what you need and what you think it's right. And even talking to doctors, some doctors don't know what to do. Just always listen to your gut feeling. And sometimes I didn't, and sometimes I felt right away this isn't the treatment that I need, and I was always right afterwards. So I think just listen to really to what you need and not what anyone else thinks you need.